Okay, so we got another ready to fly beginner kit here from EMAX. This is the Easy Pilot Pro. So I haven't opened this up. I have no idea what's in here. If it's anything like the original Easy Pilot, it is definitely geared towards beginners and beginners that don't want to deal with Betaflight or computers or configurations or anything like that. It should be like a really basic setup, get you up in the air and get you going with the experience of FPV. I'll have a playlist down in the video description for some of the other ready to fly kits that I've reviewed in the past. Generally, as you know, time goes on, these kits get better. So if you are looking at kits that are from the far past, they're probably not as good as this one. Well, I can pretty much assure you that they aren't. But anyway, this is what the box looks like. There obviously is a ready to fly kit. It'll come with some goggles and a controller, and of course you get the drone, and that's pretty much how a ready to fly kit comes. It comes with everything that you're going to need to get up in the air and fly, and it should come with a battery and chargers as well. So let's get this opened up and see what's inside. Alright, so right off here on the top, you get some documentation, get a little card for support, some stickers, a little disclaimer and precautions on probably how to fly safe. This is the drone itself, and it looks like the older Tiny Hawk from a couple years ago. It looks like they have redesigned it to be much more stronger, so it's going to be a little bit heavier, but it's going to be much better at dealing with crashes. So with this kit being for beginners, beginners will obviously crash a lot more, so you want a frame that's going to hold up to a lot of abuse. And they're still using their 450 milliamp hour 1S LiPo with a PH2.0 connector. That's pretty standard. This one here now comes with brushless motors, not brushed motors. And like the original Tiny Hawk, it is the inverted motors. So you get a micro USB cable. This is obviously for charging the transmitter and the goggles. Get a USB to PH2.0 charger for the 1S battery that's included. Alright, so this is their new E8 transmitter. This is the same one, I believe, that came with the Tiny Hawk 3 ready to fly kit. So much improved gimbals and form factor. This is a much better radio than what came in the older EMAX ready to fly kits from a couple years ago. Okay, these are the goggles. These are the Transporter 2 goggles. Pretty similar to the ones that came in the Tiny Hawk 3 ready to fly kit. The screen obviously comes off, and you have an adjustable frame here for the actual lens. So this will slide out. So if you want to adjust your focus distance, it'll give you a better viewing of the image, and your eyes will be able to focus on the actual screen. So this is a pretty decent goggle. The screen looks the same. You got the two antennas as before. This is the budget version of the Transporter 2 goggles, so unlike the one that comes with the Tiny Hawk 3, this one does not have the DVR function. So again, they're targeting beginners, not experts. Obviously experts will probably want to do recordings, but for those of you guys that are beginners and don't want to pay that extra money, because I think this kit's about $60 less than the Tiny Hawk 3 kit. Tiny Hawk 3 is about $299, and this one's going to be coming around $239, so about $60 less. So that's one of the areas where they reduce the cost for the people who are just starting out that don't want to pay the extra money for the DVR if they don't want to use it. Okay, so all the little parts here that are for the transmitter, they actually go to the top of the transmitter and allow you to mount the screen. If you don't want to use the goggles and you just rather have the screen on top of the transmitter, these are the parts you use to do that. Get a small baggie of screws and extra parts here for the drone, and also I think there's an extra screw here for the transmitter. Get an Allen key for the screws, and you get a spare set of props for the drone itself. So we're going to just go ahead and put this together on camera here. Everything, I'm assuming, has some level of battery charging here. I'm not going to charge it. And so we just put the antennas on like so. So there's actually no manual in the box. So they have this card here, and on the back is a QR code for the manual, and you can actually go online and download it. It's going to be a PDF file. But actually, I'm going to just kind of put together wing it, because it should be easy enough where you don't actually need a manual to figure it out. So I'm going to try and do that on camera here. The power button to the screen is right here, so go ahead and press and hold. That should turn it on. And you can see here we have a video. It's static right now because it's not tuned to anything. The drone is not turned on yet. Turn on the transmitter now. Just press and hold this button here in the middle. Hear a beep and a green light. Now it's on. Alright, so go ahead and plug in the drone right here. So this is the plug on the drone. This is the plug on the battery. It should only go in one way. It's keyed. So if you try and put it in and force it, it won't go in. And there we go. We got some beeps. So the drone is beeping, which means that these switches are in the wrong position. So I'm going to put them up and then put these up. So these switches need to be away from you. So when I pulled everything out of the box, some of the switches were in random positions. You want to make sure these are away and these are down. So these are pointing down, not up, and then these are away. And we have video, as you can see here, from the drone. Pointed at myself here. Okay, so I'm going to stick the drone here on top of this box and just do a little test flight. Just want to hover it here and just see it's working. It obviously doesn't have full battery power, so it's not going to be able to fly it for super long. But yeah, I got video here. I'm just going to fly it line of sight. And let's see here. I'm thinking, if I remember right, it's I think it's this switch right here on the left. That's the arming switch. Nope. So the arming switch is going to be the one on the left above the left throttle gimbal here. That's going to be on the one that's facing. The one's on the shoulder here. The 2-position switch is, I think, the flip over or the turtle mode. And I think the one over here on the right is going to be the beeper. Yeah, that's the beeper. This one over here is a turtle mode. This one here is the arming switch. You're going to bring that all the way down. And then this one over here is going to be your different modes, like angle, horizon, and acro modes. So let's go ahead and arm it. There it goes. Alrighty. Yeah, so yeah, definitely flies totally fine out of the box. Obviously, I have to fly at FPV. I'll show you that part in the next part of this video. But as you can see here, I didn't look at any manual, and I was able to pretty much figure out how to get to go. All of this stuff is already connected together, so you have video from the drone to your goggles. I didn't have to change any channels. It's already set up out of the box. And then the drone's receiver is already bound to the radio, and you just have to know what the switches do, as I explained earlier. It's probably also going to be in the manual as well. And that's pretty much it. Just have to figure out how to turn everything on. Now to charge stuff, there's going to be a micro USB port here. That's what the cable is for. You don't have a power brick for this, so you're going to have to use something like your power brick for your cell phone to charge the battery that's inside the transmitter. And then there's also a micro USB port over here on the goggles or the screen, and you can charge that also with the same micro USB cable. So this next part here, I'm going to go ahead and put the goggles on. We'll fly it around, and I'll give you my thoughts on how it flies. Alright, so this is my first flight experience, or first battery experience with the EZPilot Pro, and I think for the first time EMAX has made some mistakes on this ready-to-fly kit. As a beginner, there's some things that you're going to need to know, which you should need to know as a beginner to use this kit in order to get video reception. And you'll see here as I'm playing back what's happening. I plug it in, I try and fly. You know, I just fly it on the default settings, whatever came out of the box, and it's very, very bad video. It's unflyable and crashing. And I'm not really sure what's going on, why the video is so bad, and I'm thinking that, perhaps I might be on the wrong channel or something like that, but it all appears to be on the correct channel. The goggles are on the correct channel. And of course, I'm recording this on a separate DVR. I checked that as well, and the video reception on that is also very poor. So I try and increase the power, and for a beginner that never flew FPV before, they won't know how to do this, but you have to go into the OSD to change a setting to increase the video transmission power, and I boosted it up from 25 milliwatts to 200 milliwatts, but that didn't seem to help either. The video reception was still pretty much unflyable. I'm crashing again, and then I realized, well, maybe they're using a locked video transmitter here. And so what you got to do, if you happen to get this and the video transmitter is locked, is when you plug in the battery as you're powering it up, you need to hold down the button here on the video transmitter. And when you do that, when you're plugging it in, it will unlock. And that basically gives you more than 25 milliwatts of power. And I also tried changing channels to like raceband 1, and that didn't, when it was locked, it would not give me any video at all. So after I unlocked it, raceband 1 did work, and I was able to fly around. So this is really unfortunate for a beginner that's getting this as a first-time kit that doesn't know anything about beta flight and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to learn all that, which is kind of pointless. So if you're trying to avoid that, you probably should get the Tiny Hawk 3 kit instead, because I didn't run into any of these problems in that. I'm assuming that this is probably a one-off. They probably sent me a sample that wasn't fully baked, and I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case for customers. I'm going to release the video as is here because I have basically no time to make any changes, and I will make a follow-up video later, assuming that EMAX sees the video, and hopefully they'll be able to explain to me what went wrong, and then if we can correct that, I'll make a follow-up video later on this kit, or perhaps I just got a bad sample and they'll send me another one. I don't know. But yeah, I'll have to make a follow-up video later, because at this time, even after I unlocked the video transmitter and I changed the channel and I also boosted the power to 200 milliwatts, the video reception was still pretty poor. I was flyable, as you can see here. I'm flying around fine, and I didn't really have any issues, but you could see there was lots of breakup, more than expected for flying so close at that power level. It should have some pretty decent video if I'm flying at that distance indoors. It really shouldn't be that big. The breakup shouldn't be that bad. Now, in terms of the flying characteristics and the controllability, all that, it was fine. I was flying around acro mode. The tune seemed good. No problems, no complaints there. The field of view and the camera is a little, I would say, narrower than I would like. And then the camera angle is a little bit too high. So when you're looking at the way it's pointed up here with the narrow field of view, this, for a beginner, this should be down lower like this. Again, I didn't change anything out of the box. I just flew it the way it came. But it's a simple change. If you're a beginner, I would recommend reducing your camera angle here. And there's on a screw here, so it will let you do that. But it was out of the box, it was way too high for a beginner, in my opinion. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully EMAX will get back to me on what some of these issues are. But I would hold off until you see a follow-up video or some explanation down in the video description or the pinned comment as to what's going on with this kit. Because if you're getting this for the first time, as a first-time buyer, first-time flyer, you're going to have a lot of issues if you get a kit the way it came to me, because it's pretty much unflyable out of the box the way it came. So that's all I'm going to do for this particular video. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. It's unfortunate. EMAX usually puts out a pretty good product, so I'm assuming that I just got a bad sample, that the video transmitter won't come locked for customers, that wouldn't make any sense for a beginner to understand how to unlock a video transmitter. That shouldn't happen. because they obviously wouldn't know any of that stuff. That's just too difficult for someone that's getting into FPV for the first time, which is the whole point of this kit, to avoid that problem. Okay, that's going to do it for this video. Talk to you later.